Monroe is building his fan base one country at a time. He's been a true ambassador for country music, performing all over the world. With such non-traditional venues as Russia, China, and Vietnam under his belt, he's ready to take on North America with Pat Green and Randy Houser on this summer's Jagermeister Tour. Cody managed to hook up with Rick before he hit the road on the new tour. Here's Cody.
Hey, I'm Cody Howell, and we're here at Chase's Sports Bar and Grill to check out a performance by Rick Monroe. This is one of your last shows before your Jager Country Tour, right?
Yes, it is. We're about to take off for about 3.5 months or whatever it is from mid-February till May.
And you get to play with two great acts, Pat Green and Randy Houser. What are you most looking forward to about that?
Well, we already did one show last weekend in Atlanta, which was crazy. It was at Wild Bill's. There was about 5,000 people there. And just everything. I mean, Randy's got an awesome voice, and he's a great writer, and Pat is pretty much kind of iconic. And so between the two guys, they're really good with the brand, with Jaeger, and they understand that. And so it's fun because I also get to MC. Plus I get to play. So I get to work with them in between sets and all that. And plus we also have Cowboy Troy's coming out on some dates. Her in Kings County is coming out for a couple dates. It's going to be a really good tour.
And how do you prepare for something like that?
Well, now I'm preparing. When I did the first thing, they really didn't tell me much. They're just like, push Jagermeister and have fun. And so you just kind of show up and hope you can figure it out. And after kind of getting thrown to the wolves a bit, I kind of figured it out. And so now I'm kind of preparing little ideas and stuff.
And you've been traveling a lot overseas, so you're definitely not a stranger to the road. So how did you get the opportunity to play in places like China and Russia?
Well, the Russia thing ended up happening because I did a private concert for Mikhail Gorbachev, and it was on the USS Sequoia, which was the presidential yacht. And then we did it in Washington. I did it with Voice of America. After I did the private concert for him, he invited me to come to Russia and go do some events. So I spent 3.5 weeks touring Russia, orphanages for Yeltsin and Gorbachev. They have a foundation. So that's how I did that, and that led me to get to go to Vietnam and China and these other places to do other kind of diplomatic things. And I got to sing the Star Spangled Banner in Vietnam for the first time in I think 25 or 30 years. I got a tour of the Hanoi Hilton by Pete Peterson, and it's wild.
It's just a pretty picture in black and white.
Tell me about your song, Just a Pretty Picture.
It's going to probably be the next single. It's a ballad. We were taking some pictures in Germany, and because of the language, the woman said, "Well, we make a nice picture." And I kind of thought that was an odd way of saying, "Well, it was a good picture, but we make a good picture." And so we started talking about it on that night and started thinking about how pictures capture a moment. But sometimes a moment's not at all what the picture is, because somebody, like if you and I were fighting, but yet someone would take a picture, you're like, "Hey," in that moment it looks good. And so the whole thing is about finding these pictures, like somebody after breaking up and they're looking through it and thinking, "Wow, was this really our life? Because this looks better than all the turmoil that was really going underneath." And so it was kind of an interesting way of taking pictures and turning it into the fact that it's not a real reflection of life. And so that was kind of the concept. It's kind of heavy, but it's but it comes out of someone saying, "We make nice pictures."
Get loud, get lit.
What can we expect from Get Loud, Get Lit?
Hopefully it'll be a lot. I mean, we've got a bunch of the tracks. What we've been doing is releasing some of the tracks digitally already. We already released about 3 or 4 of the tracks. And so when we get the whole thing, about 12 different tracks, then we'll put the whole thing out completely. But like right now, we're just doing it digitally.
When does that album come out?
It'll probably come out after this Jaeger tour. I'm going to have it finished. I'm finishing up the tracks, and so as soon as we finish that, because then we head to Europe in June. So I want to have it done before we head to Europe.
Crank it up, let it rip. Honky tonk road trip. I gotta get loud, get lit. Hey.
Well, you're going to have a lot to perform with your new single, Honky Tonk Road Trip, which the video just came out too. And you wrote that with Larry Holden. How did you guys come up with that song, and what does it mean to you?
Actually, Larry we were talking about different things, and he came up with this idea, this story about a guy whose girlfriend broke his heart, and he's like, "I just want to go out and hit all these honky tonks." I'm like, "That's a cool idea, a honky tonk road trip." And then as we sat around and just kind of kicked the idea around, it just kind of happened, and so now the video is what it is.
Oh, crazy Irene will take that heartache off my mind.
And what are your musical goals for 2009?
Play a lot, have fun, enjoy it, I'm trying to enjoy it more than ever before. I mean, that's the biggest thing. If you don't enjoy it, then it's not worth doing. Obviously, the tour is big. I mean, it's going to be a really big tour. Europe's going to be really good. We're excited about that. Last year was really successful for us. So this year, hopefully, will be even bigger. And it's just keep growing, keep expanding, keep reaching out and touching more people.
To somebody watching this who doesn't know anything about Rick Monroe, what was one thing that you'd want them to know about you?
What would I want them to know about me? I don't know. Just check out the website. Write me and ask me your question. That's what it is. If you really want to know something about me, write a question, send it in, rick@rickmonroe.com, and hopefully I can figure it out.
All right, well, good luck with your tour, and it was very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you very much.
Don't forget, you can check out Rick's live show as he tours this summer with Pat Green and Randy Houser. You won't want to miss it. That's all the time we have for today, but we do have a couple of autographed copies of Aaron's new album, In Overdrive. If you want one, you need to be one of the first to email me your mailing address. That's Bailey@InsideMusicRow.com. We're going to leave you with a classic from Aaron. Here is Where the Stars and Stripes and the Eagle Fly. Until next time, I'm Bailey for Inside Music Row, and I'll see you again real soon.
Well, if you ask me where I come from, here's what I tell everyone. I was born by God's dear grace in an extraordinary place where the stars and stripes and the eagle fly. It's a big old land with countless dreams, and happiness ain't out of reach. Hard work pays off the way it should. Yeah, I've seen enough to know that we've got it good. Where the stars and stripes and the eagle fly. There's a lady that stands in a harbor for what we believe, and there's a bell that still echoes the price that it costs to